It is Ignorance Week at Our Raw Material. I am Tavish Cardiff, excited to be here to talk about the ignorance pillar. We lead off with the question that really started the whole practice and set it into motion. So let's take a deep breath, call up the ignorance pillar, invite it to work with us, and ask yourself to imagine everything there is to know in the entire world. Let the energy of that kind of come upon you, kind of take it all in, see what it feels like. Of everything there is to know in the entire world, what percentage do you think you personally know? Let the answer come to you, or multiple answers if it comes in waves. The idea isn't that you know the exact number of what you know. The idea is that we realize the small percentage that we know is just a fraction of what there is available to know. So when we find ourselves disappointed with what someone else doesn't know or their ignorance, we see it as intentional or problematic. We see them as not as smart as we are, and we fail to recognize that ignorance is in itself an opportunity to learn. When we step back from ignorance, when we wonder why someone does or doesn't know a thing, or if we encounter someone who doesn't know a lot of the things that we feel like we should know, they should know, we can back up and ask about their background and find out, just that they probably come from a completely different set of raw material than we do. Their experience has been very different. So when we look to ignorance, when we look to the pillar of ignorance for our own guidance, we make peace with the things that we don't know. We can back out of all of those times that we've felt insecure from not knowing something. And, that comes from anything from taking tests during school to being part of a conversation where, other people have answers faster than we do, or, the conversation just feels above our head. Those are the moments where we root in our own knowledge, in our own set of raw materials, the mentors, the spiritual music, the physical ignorance is derived from those things together. And then the mental state from Food Week, where we put our belief system, has so much to do with ignorance. And inside of anything that we believe really, really hard is something to be challenged in ignorance, in what we don't know. So peace with ignorance is my hope and intention for the ignorance pillar. As you get to work with your own concept of ignorance, your own willingness to accept yours and the people around you, start with your family, start especially with people that you love. See where they get to where they are and how differently maybe they think from the way you think, even though we hope that if someone knows us well, that they understand how we would think and they know what we would feel about certain things. That's an expectation that is very egocentric, and it doesn't take into account that we each have our own kind of personal set of rhythms or vibrations that our thought patterns cycle through. And to ask someone to really step out of their own and be vibing with yours all the time is asking them to be less of themselves. So ignorance is rooted in its most basic conceptual state to opening up the space of allowing what someone else doesn't know, so that we can either teach, learn. Usually, an exchange of both is going to be the best benefit to everyone in the room. And knowing that we can always learn from anyone, whatever their situation or circumstances are. A, very highly degreed doctorate can learn from a 3-year-old. And I think we're shown that every day. It's whether we take the opportunity to appreciate it, learn from it, and transform our own ignorance into actual usable knowledge. As we approach Ignorance Week and so many things that we don't know, Have gratitude for the things that you do. Cherish your own experience and the value of what you know, and trust that the universe has given you the tools that you need personally for your life. There is an extreme amount of satisfaction in knowing that you have the right tools for the job, as long as you look deeply within yourself. Remember though, so does everyone else. It may not look like it on the surface. The way things look is not often the way they are. I will see you next week as we dive into the emotions that are created by these first 4 pillars. Have a great week.